Okay. There are reports of increased orc activity around Ithilien, and you have been sent to investigate. You enter Osgiliath and cross the river. On the outskirts of the city, you see a horde that surpasses all expectations coming down the Morgul Road. Hello and welcome back to the Line Unbroken, my series in which I am playing through each of the scenarios of the Lord of the Rings LCG in turn, using only cards which were available at the time of release, in imitation of the existing progression series. In this video I am playing through the first ever GenCon scenario, the Massacre of Osgiliath, and being as loyal as I can to the only cards available at the time of release. I'm only using cards which were available at the time of GenCon 2011, when this scenario was first available. I've done all the setup, the Witch King is still here, and these are in the staging area. So let's try this a second time. As the van of the army enters the city, some of the horde's outriders are aware of your presence and head in your direction. Drawing back, you make a hasty retreat towards the river. Alright, so Steward of Gondor, and then Snowborn Scout. I can't get anything out of his ability because there are no locations in play, but he will allow me to shuffle Wolves from Mordor back into the encounter deck, and I will immediately play the Horn of Gondor across onto Beravor. And over here, a Westfold Horsebreaker will be ready to meet the same fate as this erstwhile Snowborn Scout. I have left myself unable to use a test of will, but it's important to start clearing the staging area, so we have 8 threat to start with. Theodred and Aragorn for 3, 7, 9, 11, and let's hope that the encounter deck is kinder to me this time. Well, that's quite a way to start, isn't it? Cut off Doomed 1 plus the Doomed 1 from Massacre of Osgiliath. So let's discard this Veteran Axe Hand and multiple allies from here. And card 2 of staging is of course Doomed 1. But there is no top scout enemy in the encounter discard pile because I haven't killed any yet. There are only 2 treacheries in there. So I got an extra 3 threat during staging, and I've broken even. I think I could discard this superfluous Steward of Gondor to boost Éowyn, but under the circumstances I think I'd rather hold on to it because I might have tougher staging later in the game. So at the start of the encounter phase these will engage this deck, and then optional engagements, I'll have one wolf on each side. I don't have to engage the Wain Riders this time. Although I suppose, I could. Or I could take the Captain just to get threat out of the staging area. Tricky decision, but I think not. So, Snowborn Scout. Attack is not undefended, it wouldn't matter anyway. And these are shuffled back into the encounter deck. Let's discard that shadow card. Over here, technically I must discard one ally. Well, I will not discard one ally. So the attacking enemy gets +3 attack. Dead resource. Shuffled back into the encounter deck. And now these obviously are both undefended. There is no defending character. We'll do 1 damage to Beravol. Undefended. We'll take 1 threat with Frodo. Legolas will kill these Snagger Scouts, putting 2 progress on the quest. Discard that shadow card. There's nothing for Aragorn to do. And we refresh. Well, I have some cancellation. That's something. I may as well throw this Protector of Lorien over to here. I don't know how useful it'll be, but no real reason not to. And I have a lot of resources that I can't do anything with over on this side. So let's quest. Four, 6, 7, 9. Do I send Beravor again? Obviously, technically, I have to make that decision first. Yes, I think I will. And this time I'm going to send Thedred's resource over to Éowyn, and Aragorn will use one of his own resources to re-ready himself. So that's 11 willpower again. We reveal Snagger Scouts. Fine. Wholesome Mordor. Okay. That's only 2 more threat. So I will make 2 progress. I'd really like to see some locations. Well, possibly. Ones that I could reasonably travel to. Now I have no one that I can really throw to the wolves. Well, at the beginning of the encounter phase, this comes down here, and then I'll bring this here. And so, undefended. Do Beravor again. Undefended. I do not want the Morgulduin to be the active location. Hasty stroke. And I will take 1 threat with Frodo. Aragorn will defend against these bullets from Mordor. It's not that important to preserve his hit points. I could increase his defense with Protector of Lorien, but I think it'll be okay. And then let's kill these Snagger Scouts and put another 2 progress on the quest. Well, I wanted to play this Gondorian Spearman, but that feint could come in really handy, and I don't have any means of giving Legolas another resource afterwards. So I think I will not do anything on this side. And here let's go for that. Gandalf, and I will draw 3 cards. Alright. And then let's quest again. Standard thing, so that's total of 3, 7, 9, 13. Probably overkill. 11. I want to draw cards. 9. Okay. 11, but he surges. We've not crossed the Anduin, so this gets +3 threat, so that's 5 additional threat. And let's see for... yeah, I will pay 1 from Beravol, 2 secret paths on the ruins of Osgiliath, so it does not count its threat. Meaning that there's only 8, I make an extra 3 progress, I only need 1. The Outriders and Scouts of the army have cut you off from the bridge. You desperately seek the likeliest place to cross the Anduin. Players cannot travel to West Bank locations, and each player cannot play or put into play more than 1 card from his hand each round. Now, this deck has not played a card yet this round, so I can still play this Feint. This deck, on the other hand, played Gandalf and has just played Secret Paths, so I definitely can't play anything over here. And I have to remember this, because I consistently forget about it. And now I'll travel to the ruins of Osgiliath to get that threat out of the staging area. Now... this is tricky. I think I'll bring down these wolves over here, and I will continue to leave the Wain Riders up there. I'll have to deal with them next round, though. Pay 1 to feint these wolves. Gandalf will defend against these wolves. Deal 2 damage to attacking enemy. Defending player may exhaust a character he controls to take control of Ranger of Ithilien. Which I suppose I will do. Means that I can't use Beravol to draw cards. But whatever. And undefended. Must discard 1 ally card from his hand, or attacking enemy gets... now hang on, this is defending player must discard 1 ally card. It's must, not must either. So it's not actually a choice. That's an important distinction. And I will take 1 threat. Actually no, I will take 1 damage on Éowyn. Preserve some threat. And then for attacking back, yes, Aragorn and Legolas will combine to kill these wolves from Mordor. Legolas will place 2 progress on the ruins of Osgiliath, which are explored. And this Ranger of Ithilien will kill these Sneagus scouts. At the end of the round, Gandalf leaves play, Barrett gains a resource. So I will play nothing over here. I am remembering that I can't play more than one card per round. Gain some more superfluous resources and play this Gondorian Spearman because he is important to my strategy. And so we are at 7th threat again. So, okay, how am I going to deal with these Wayne Riders? Okay, I figured out how I can almost deal with them. Except for being short of defense. I suppose I could take them undefended. More threat raise. Obviously I'm questing with Eowyn. And Aragon already with resource. I don't actually have to quest with Theodred. I'm sort of swimming in resources. Yes, okay, so let's see, I'm up to 6 willpower. I want to send a bit more than that. Eight. I might accept that I'm not going to quest as well this particular round, in exchange for being able to clear some of the board a bit. Okay. Right. I could cancel it to avoid the doomed. I didn't even think of playing Strider's Path on that, though I could have done so. So that's only 3 additional threat, which means currently losing by 1. Discard this to boost Eowyn. Let's discard this to boost Eowyn. No, don't delete my threat. And we'll break even. I think I'm okay with that, and I'll engage 1 set of Wayne Riders on each side. Shadow cards. The Spearman will defend against the wolves from Mordor, dealing 1 damage to them and killing them. Shadow card is immediately discarded. Frodo will defend against these Wayne Riders. Deal 2 damage to the defending character. Okay, so I raise my threat by 2 to deal with that shadow effect, and he will actually take 1 damage, which also raises my threat because of the Wayne Rider's ability. Then over here, Aragorn will defend defend. Okay, it's now undefended. So I'll put 3 damage onto Legolas. Raise my threat by 3. And so this Ranger of Ithilien and Legolas will combine to kill these Wain Riders. I'll put 2 progress there. And Theodred and this Ranger will put a total of 3 damage on here, leaving him nicely within Spearman range. No characters left to play, did they? So Bevel doesn't get any resources anywhere. Alright. Well, there is nothing I can play in here. I really need to have an unexpected courage on Bevel so she can draw cards as well as doing other things. There is currently 6 threat in the staging area. I'm going to hope this doesn't screw me over. Okay. Putting Calabrian Stone onto Aragorn, which gives me as much willpower as Bevel would have, so it works out okay. And then over here, my one card will be the Westfold Horsebreaker. So, questing. If my threat gets raised at all, I will have to engage this Wain Rider Captain. But it's not necessarily too big a deal. Let's see. One, 5, 9. $11, 12. Maybe I should make it this. Okay, so it's 12 against 6. 12 against 9, meaning I make 3 progress. The cold waters of the Anduin River rush before you, but the current is weaker here, and you have to cross. The Outriders and van of the Dark Lord's army are closing fast behind, and their archers will make the attempted crossing even more dangerous. The bravest members of your band turn back to distract the oncoming horde, so that the rest of you might escape. Progress tokens from card effects cannot be placed on this quest or the active location. Players cannot travel to East Bank or West Bank locations. In order to commit characters to the quest, a player must first choose one hero or one Ranger of Ithilien card he controls. Discard each chosen card from play, because obviously they're the ones who are distracting the enemy so you can get away. This is why you really want to get these Rangers. So... oh no, wait, I did want it to be this way round. The relevance of this is that I was thinking there was a possibility I might want to chump block with one of my Rangers, and obviously that is the one that has to be ready, and I want to keep this one so that this deck can quest. Now, I can't travel to locations because I'm in the middle of the river. My threat did not get raised at all, so I don't have to engage the captain, but I do have to engage the regular Wain Riders. I might want to take the captain anyway. Or at least consider it. This is frustrating. I wish Aragorn was ranged. Yeah, I'll bring the Wayne Riders down here, and at a point I could bring the captain down, even though I won't be able to kill him right away. No, I'll leave it. So, shadow cards. Spearman will defend these Wayne Riders and kill them. And then Aragorn will defend these Wayne Riders. So he takes 1 damage, I raise my threat by 1. And then Legolas and the Ranger will kill these Wayne Riders, but I can't place progress from Legolas's ability on this quest stage, because it's a card effect. This is to ensure that you have to face the discard a ranger or a hero portion of it, obviously. So, okay. Some more questing power. And I'm going to use Berevol's ability. Oh. I'm going to slightly retcon this. Because if I'd done that the sensible way round and used her ability before playing Aemond, I would have just brought in this Northern Tracker. And left Aemond behind. Over here, well, more resources. Pay 4 for Faramir, 2 for Winged Guardian, 2 for Unexpected Courage, which I will put on Berevor. And okay, that should do it. Now, before committing characters to the quest, have to discard either a hero or a ranger of a pavilion. Now, how much threat is in the staging area? 7. So, I'll discard this ranger. 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 10 versus 7. And I can potentially add another 5 with Faramir. I think that's enough. We have not crossed the Anduin, so this is plus. I'm going to spend 1 resource for Strider's Path to immediately travel to this. Doesn't make sense, of course. But oh, actually, that's questionable. Because it does actually say travel to that location without resolving its travel effect, and this does say that we cannot travel. See, it's different to if it just said make it the active location, then that would be fine. But since it actually says travel, I think I can't do this. Though, of course, there are still odd things that you can do with that, such as if I was using the whole card pool from Shadows of Mirkwood, I could use Westroad Travellers to swap locations, because that doesn't count as travelling to them. So I could go to locations on the West Bank before I actually cross the river by travelling somewhere else and then swapping the locations over using a Westroad Traveller. But yeah, I think that I can't do that. So, there are no scout enemies in play, so I think I'll let that get surge. That's Fine, okay. Doomed 1, must discard all allies. I will use a test of will on that. So, there is 11 threat in the staging area. I will exhaust Faramir, targeting this deck to increase its willpower, increase each character's willpower by 1 for a total of an extra 5. And there we go. You really want to get through this in one quest phase, obviously given the discard requirement. And so here we are. You made it across the Anduin and are leaving Osgiliath when a fell shriek splits the air. You begin the race across the Pelennor fields to the safety of Minas Tirith, but a new enemy follows behind. Add the Witch King to the staging area. Players have now crossed the Anduin. Players cannot travel to East Bank locations, so I can't travel here, but since I've now crossed the Anduin, it no longer has that +3 threat. It's only 1. But if the players have crossed the Anduin, Pelennor Fields gains. When faced with the option to travel, the players must either travel to Pelennor Fields or raise each player's threat by 3, so I will travel to the Pelennor Fields to avoid that. This captured watchtower, of course, has gained 3 threat because we've crossed the Anduin, but it will be immediately explored by the Northern Tracker next round. Now, I am riding fairly high on threat, and I need to deal with this Wain Rider Captain and the Witch King. I don't think I've ever reached this stage on this high threat before. I've always had the option of leaving the Witch King in the staging area, but as a general rule you never leave the Witch King in the staging area, because as hard as he is to deal with in combat, while he's in the staging area each character gets -1 willpower, and that makes it so much harder to just quest past him, not to mention the 6 threat he contributes. So, is it feasible for me to actually kill him? Is the next important question. There's nothing that can help on either side. And the answer is no. I can kill this guy. So but I can't get them both on the same deck. Okay, so bring down the Witch King over here, the Wain Rider Captain over here. This will put me in the sights of the Vanguard as well. Alright, actually, Deck 2 will optionally engage this Uruk Vanguard. And then I'll let engagements fall out naturally, which means we end up with this. So, I will take this attack undefended and use Frodo to take a threat raise of 3 rather than 3 damage. this Uruk Vanguard is attacking for 5 because we have crossed the Anduin, and I will defend with this Winged Guardian. So he's dead. And the Witch King I will defend with this Gondorian Spearman, dealing 1 damage. And he is dead, and Beravor has just gained 2 resources. Now, after the Witch King attacks, he returns to the staging area unless the defending player raises his threat by 3. If I let him go back, there will be 7 threat in the staging area, and I do need to make a lot of progress, and he reduces everyone's willpower. I'm doing it. So, now, this deck can't attack back, however, 3, 5, 8, 10 attack will kill the Uruk Vanguard, and I will place 2 progress on the Pelennor fields. Control N. Ah, that is a beautiful sight to see. And I will exhaust Beravor to draw 2 cards over here. Where are my Gandalfs? I have this sneak attack all ready for a Gandalf to drop my threat back down. Let's see, under the circumstances, I suppose I should play this Dunedain Warning. Now let's put it on Frodo. And that will have to be it. Now, here it's unfortunate that I don't have more spirit resources, because it would be nice to be able to play Aemond and the Galadrim's Greeting. Maybe I should have put the Horn of Gondor on Eowyn, or Frodo. But basically, I don't have a lot of choice here. I have to play the Galadrim's Greeting to drop this deck back down to 40 threat. Otherwise, the Witch King could cause a threat out. So, let's quest for 1, 5. Not really going to put a significant dent in the Witch King. I don't have the combat power, so... Although, I suppose that means that I want to be able to chump block him. Well, what am I up to? 1, 5, 9, 11, 13, 14, 15... against a staging area of 1. That's not enough. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to quest with basically everything I've got. So I'm questing for... no, that's not right. 17, 6, 7, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17. We reveal Morgulduin, and an Orc Vanguard, so that's 4 threats in the staging area. I will exhaust Faramir targeting this deck, which will increase my willpower to 22, versus 4, meaning I make 18 progress. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right, yes, and I can discard this to boost AoE by 1. I can potentially discard other things to boost Aragorn, because of Protector of Lorien. If I thought about it, I suppose I could have used Strider's Path to... Well, actually no, because I already had that thought about travelling, and it does specify travel. But yes, I discard that to boost Eowyn by 1. And I have completed the quest. Right. I think I was definitely rather lucky when I did my test play of the scenario with these decks, because I kind of breezed through it, to be honest. I think I managed to have an early unexpected courage on Beravor, which helped, and I drew my cancellation in a much more timely fashion. So yeah, I mean, the unexpected courage on Beravor is a huge deal, because getting the relevant cards into your hand means you're less likely to build up 13 resources that you can't spend on anything. I also got more attack boosts for Legolas, which was obviously useful. What's left over here? Obviously, I don't think I actually saw my Burning Brands in the test game. But I got a Northern Tracker earlier as well, and that can make a big difference. So yeah, that is the Massing at Osgiliath. It was a fairly brutal quest at the time. It's a lot easier with using some of the cards that have been released since, especially some of the location control. Of course, if you're as far through the card pool as Foundations of Stone, you have access to Asphalloth, which cares not what bank of the Anduin you are on. And some of these only have 2 quest points, so you can just knock them straight out. Yes, yeah. Was that Dunedain Warning on Frodo when he defended? Did he defend that captain? No, I took it undefended, didn't I? Never mind. Yes, but it still has some of these brutal elements. But I like it. I like this scenario. You have to be prepared for it, but the harsh stuff that it does to you, it never feels unfair. I don't feel like there's any specific card in here which you always have to just cancel or die, which tends to be a gripe that I have with some other scenarios. Everything is tough, but nothing is instant death. Certainly not universally instant death. Some things might be instant death to specific decks, but then obviously you have to be aware of that as a weakness of your deck, or bring a different deck. Yeah, so that was fun. I'm glad that I didn't have such an easy time in the recording as I did when I did my test play, because it would have been a bit of a letdown to bring up what I'm pretty sure was the most difficult scenario released, well, at the time it was released at GenCon, it definitely was the most difficult, but even by the end of the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle, I'd say it was still the most difficult scenario released up to that point. So if I'd beaten it easily, it would have been a bit of a disappointment. This was much, I hope, much more entertaining. So yes, thank you for watching, and hopefully also reading on wardenarnor.wordpress.com. This concludes all of the Shadows of Mirkwood. I will be doing a post on the blog for a sort of end of cycle roundup, talking about the scenarios and the player cards, particularly the player cards that I actually haven't used at all, and then moving on to the next deluxe expansion and cycle. And I hope you will come back for those. Thank you. Goodbye.